Do you regret your vote right now?
Well, between him and her, I thought he was the better choice, but honestly, I miss my Uncle Joe. I was a nobody, and I was balling then. Now, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even show you $5 in my pocket.
We spoke to Trump voters here in Florida who are ticked off about the fact that the gas prices in the state have gone up by an average of about 60 cents within just a week.
I would just wish he'd keep up on his campaign promise and say he was going to put it under $3. He'd end that war so fast. But here it is, 5 years later, helping his buddy out get his more money. And then never mind charging us Americans all sorts of money for fuel that you just stole from Venezuela.
And those gas prices are getting higher because of volatile oil prices due to the war in Iran, a war that these Trump voters tell us they hope wraps up quickly.
If I could, speak to the president, I just encourage him to finish up this war and get us back to a safe world.
He's saying about for our safety, leave somebody alone, they won't bother you.
Hopefully this conflict over there will end, it's just unfortunate.
The overall vibe here at the gas pump amongst these Trump voters is they feel like the economy is not going well right now.
At the moment, I'm really out of work.
My hope is that it's temporary and it doesn't last for too long, that oil prices come back down. That's my hope.
Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strada. Thank you so much for all the love and support. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real controversial take on the space of social platform. So it actually has to take the feel to gag before these guys realize that arrangement is not the man for the job. Lovelies, I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. Alright lovelies, let's right into the stitches and we are going to come back to talk about it.
I can excuse racism, but I draw the line at high gas prices.
Did you fill up today or just...
No, I just got $15.
Is that because it's high?
Yeah, I can't afford to fill up right now. Payday isn't right now. I don't know that we're going to wake up from one day to the next, to be honest.
The only thing that I know that the prices went up, it's not good. So he's the president, so he needs to consider it when the prices goes up. It's not good for the lives of the people.
Gas prices in the US have been rising since the war in Iran began. They've gone up on average about 50 cents a gallon, and here in DC that puts it about $3.50. Now in Australian terms, a litre works out about 125 Australian here. That might not seem much, but motorists here are already feeling the pinch.
I just heard up 50 cents on the dollar so far since the war. Probably get a little worse before it levels out, would be my guess.
The president says, look, they will go up for a short time, but it's worth it for America's security. What do you think about that?
We don't really know how long this is going to take. We don't know how long his war is going to be. So it's uncertainty. He does never really tell us anything clear to us.
President Trump says oil prices will drop dramatically once the mission in Iran is complete. And he says that higher prices are a small price to pay for world peace and security.
I felt pretty secure 3 weeks ago before this war, so I'm not really sure what he's talking about.
In Michigan, gas is almost $4 and shit. They said Michigan had a 56 cents raise in gas prices in just 1 week. You can't make this shit up. I am not trying to go back to those times where gas prices was that high and shit. This shit is traumatizing as shit. Got me online looking at scooters and bicycles and shit. Looking at skateboards and shit, thinking I'm about to be the next auto rocket and shit. They need to get a hand on these damn gas prices and shit. This ain't rocket power and shit. I can't go to work on a skateboard and shit. Lower these damn gas prices.
The situation with Iran and the gas prices here in the United States is going to get worse. We're seeing that as Donald Trump is now saying that he could be releasing certain sanctions on certain countries to try to bring down the price of gas. This is bad for many reasons, because when he's talking about releasing sanctions on certain countries, he's referring to the fact that he wants to release sanctions on Russia, a country that we and Europe has been sanctioning left and right because of their invasion of Ukraine. So how would that make things worse for us if we release sanctions on Russia, which would make gas cheaper? Well, first, analysts agree that releasing these sanctions would not actually make gas prices go down. It would slow it down and it would still rise a little bit. But for Russia, this is a completely new ball field, because we're now essentially allowing Russia to get a massive influx of cash by selling said oil, in which they will use that money to buy more weapons to use inside of Ukraine, which means the incentive of starving Russia of money to stop their war and to pressuring them to peace is now gone, which means Russia's war in Ukraine will be lasting even longer with absolutely no pressure onto Russia. Which, remember, a year ago, Donald Trump criticized Europe, who was buying Russian oil and supporting Ukraine, saying it doesn't make any sense. You're trying to stop a war, but then also funding the war by buying Russian oil. In which you can see that cycle reopen if the United States allows Russia to sell that oil now. And I need to add one little fact to all of this, which is, at this very moment, the United States did grant India a temporary permit to buy Russian oil, but this is only Russian oil at sea. At this very moment, the United States has not given a final decision on whether or not they're going to release these sanctions, and this is where you need to be vocal. Tell the US government, no, we don't want to release these sanctions because it's going to make things worse for everyone. So why would Trump do this? And realistically, it comes down to one thing: midterms. He feels that if gas prices are very high, people are not going to be voting Republican. So at this very moment, Donald Trump is seriously thinking of releasing sanctions on Russia to try to save his midterms. I will, of course, keep you updated on this, so please do share this video and follow me for more.
All right, how much does oil going up over $100 a barrel affect us in Las Vegas, Nevada? Let's check those prices. Regular, Plus, Supreme, and Diesel. If you did not know, one of the first things to go up after oil goes up and gas goes up is food. Can you imagine food prices going any higher than they already have? Most people are already struggling and living paycheck to paycheck. Did you know that people are taking out 401k loans at record-breaking numbers? Also, toiletries, baby products, airfare, household goods, shoes, clothes, tennis shoes. Anything that needs to get delivered to a store from a truck will go up in price, and it will never come down. Are we great yet?
If this is not enough for you, I don't know what is. Y'all peep this shit. I want y'all to go to y'all nearest gas station. Everybody in America right now. I just did my damn self. And I will tell you this. That gas station that I was going to, it was at about a good 2 something. Where, like somewhere about a good couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago at best. Fast forwarded to where we are now. That motherfucking gas price done rose the fuck up. Now it is at 3 something right now. And I'm in Michigan, so I can imagine how New York and California look like right now. Cause at one point, their gas was about a good $4. I would not be surprised if their shit is at 5 right now. And I will also like to include the leader of this country that swore up and down gas is at its lowest fucking price. He said that gas is $1.98 a gallon, the lowest it has ever been. Correct? Okie dokie. Do y'all want to explain to me why this motherfucker literally came out and said, and I quote, "I don't care about the gas prices rising up"? He literally just said that shit. He said, "I don't care about the gas prices rising up." So, to all you MAGA that's out there, I would love to know, how the fuck do y'all motherfucking feel knowing that y'all about to pay up the ass for fucking gas?
So a little bit of breaking news. Folks. Now, a barrel of oil is now over $100. This is the first time this has happened since 2022, I believe. So this is a substantial increase in a very short space of time, I should add as well. It certainly hasn't been slow, it's been very quick. Now, if you drive past the gas station, you'll see evidence of this. I would love to know in the comments, by the way, what it is in your area. Where I am in Eastern Ontario, I've been driving past gas stations and seeing 150, 151, 152. This not only, of course, affects your travel, it'll affect your air travel, it'll affect the price of groceries, because gasoline and fuel is used to deliver, and the more it costs to deliver food, then they're just going to pass that money onto that increase onto the price of the foods. This could lead to a bit of an economic disaster, especially for the United States, that has relied so heavily on oil-based energy. Other parts of the world, of course, are diversifying into different parts, but Donald Trump is drill baby drill, and so we'll see what happens. Folks, my name is Nick. Let me know what you think about this in the comments.
So the head of gas.
I wonder what that guy's doing today. He's not doing that for. And we saw hundreds and hundreds of those videos. I've yet to see one where anyone's complaining about gas now being nearly 15 cents a gallon higher than when Trump took office. Yeah, I'm not seeing that. I guess they just got tired of saving $2 on a tank of fuel. You know, that it was just exhausting. I would like to know, though, if that's what was making America great. Like, where are we at now on the America Made Great whole timeline? Yeah, just let me know. Thanks.
The head of Gas Buddy's petroleum analysis told me a few days ago that 2 of the 10 largest single-day price increases in history happened this week. The price of oil jumped 36%, the largest one-week spike since 1983. President Trump told Reuters about gas prices, quote, "If they rise, they rise." Is that really the message of the Trump administration to consumers who are already struggling?
Oh, the Trump administration has been all in on lowering energy prices, and I would say quite successfully. We've seen a dramatic decline in gasoline prices and diesel prices. Soon you will see it in electricity prices as well. So Trump administration, in stark contrast to the Biden administration, his goal has been to lower energy prices. The Biden administration quite successful in raising energy prices. Gasoline today is still $1.50 a gallon cheaper than it was in the middle of the Biden administration. But you're right, we want it back below $3 a gallon, and it will be again before too long.
Well, what do you mean by too long? How much longer?
Look, you never know exactly the time frame of this, but in the worst case, this is a week's. This is not a month's thing. This is Iran has continued to build up their capabilities. First, a massive expansion of their missile program so that they can shield the completion of their nuclear program. It is simply unacceptable for the United States, for the Middle East geography, and for the world economy to have a terrorist regime with nuclear weapons and a gigantic missile arsenal. They've raised energy prices for Americans for decades. It's finally going to come to an end.
The U.S. is crawling on its knees, begging China to buy more oil from it instead of Russia. Now, this is really embarrassing because remember when the U.S. was telling China last year that China needs the U.S. more than the U.S. needs it? Imagine having to eat those words, roll back the tariffs, and now come crawling on your knees saying, can you buy more of our oil, please? This is one of the reasons why you always heard from the D3 list that the U.S.'s China policy wasn't a good one. There was no reason to be making enemies when in fact, you probably want to have China as a friend. Because now it's really awkward to go to them and say, hey, could you do us a solid and buy some of this oil from us? Since there's already been so much bad blood, in large part because of the United States statements and actions. Remember, in the long run, it's better for these two large countries, which are superpowers, to get along. And to U.S. policymakers for not realizing that, poisoning the relationship, and then turning around and asking for favors like this. Once again, you've just made the D3 list, a podcast about dumb, desperate, and diabolical business decisions. As always, for more great episodes of the D3 list, be sure to check out the D3 list at Substack.com. It's free.
The American economy isn't looking good, and if things keep going this way, it is going to get a lot worse. And it's not even how much the current war is costing the United States, in the neighborhood of about $1 billion a day. That doesn't bother me. What scares me a lot is that oil prices are now at a 2-year high, and Qatar has warned that all Gulf production of oil and most likely natural gas could stop within a few days. Even worse than oil prices being high is that gas prices are going up. Now look at how much they were a year ago, about $3.10. Current average, $3.45. More than 10%. But just over the past month, it's increased by almost 20%. What's so devastating about that is that when oil and gas prices increase, the price of everything else also increases because everything we consume has to be transported. And guess what is used to transport everything? There are now 2 wars with major oil suppliers happening in this country. And while the Ukraine-Russia issue is a regional conflict contained really to 2 countries, the war in the Gulf isn't. It's containing over 11 countries now. And no, World War III isn't going to happen because Iran and Russia are both so incredibly weak. Aside from the loss of civilian life, I am concerned that these 2 countries, being major energy producers, are helping attack other energy producers right now. That's a problem. Not a military one, but an overall logistical infrastructure quality of life problem. The US has already been suffering from inflation due to these ridiculous tariffs, and now these higher energy prices are going to skyrocket that inflation. Unemployment rose from 4.3 to 4.4%, and in February about 92,000 jobs were cut. Barely any jobs are getting created. And something that usually happens when war escalates to this level, we see the world flocking towards US debt. So our treasury yields should be dropping like lead weights. And they were in the first few days, but now they're back up. The most important treasury yield is the US 10-year. If you're not sure why that's important, treasuries are US debt. So the lower yield means the higher value. But no, the yields have been coming way back up. The US 10-year a few days ago was below 4%, and I was encouraged, like, okay, wow, the normal debt cycle is happening. Nope, it's going back up. What makes the 10-year so scary is that is the benchmark for the 30-year mortgage rate. So the higher this guy goes, the higher your mortgage rates are going to be. All that being said, the US can still absolutely win this conflict, but right now it is not a good picture for the US economy. I've spoken at length with finance experts and economists on my podcast. You should absolutely give it a listen. And after my surgery, I will...
Like, seriously, lovelies, it is not getting easy. It is not. The more at which people think that things are going to get maybe a little bit easy, the harder it becomes. And the worst part that it actually takes this to make MAGA supporters realize what they have been told, realize that they have effed around. They should be actually ashamed of themselves because they saw all of the handwritings on the wall. They saw the handwritings on the wall, but these guys decided not to acknowledge the fact. They believe his lies, his promises, his propaganda. Like, The thing is that this is not the first time. This is not the first time this guy has voted for him. This is not the first time he's the president. This is allegedly. This is also not the first time that something like this. But then again, there are people who really, they rather suffer. They rather get humiliated. They rather not be able to afford grocery, rather for them to vote a brown or a black person into an office. All the MAGA supporters, I don't even know why I'm not seeing them. I don't know why I'm not seeing them reacting. That, like, these people, like, you guys were told. It's not as if you're not told. You were warned. You were warned that the way at which you guys are going with this thing, you might come back and it's not the way at which you think that it's going to go out. Seriously. You know the person, you know that, okay, he's racist, he's misogyny, he's everything that he said that he is. Even sometimes he comes out to brag about it, but no, you guys chose to be, oh my god, blinded. Or no, I will not even use the word blinded. You guys chose your racism over your daily life affirmation. You chose to be racism. You chose to be all discriminatory rather than your livelihood. This is why it's as if everybody right about now is facing the repercussion of their action. I could vividly remember during the campaign how black people decided to like level this, explain to people, if this man, is to be in the office, everyone is going to face the consequences. Everybody, but these people do not want to listen one bit. They don't want to listen one bit. They see it as, oh, black people looking for ways to reduce the level of oppression that they have faced in this. Like, the fact is that so many people who voted for this present administration were voting it based on race, based on discrimination, based on their own selfish interests, even though the selfishness now is against them. But other people who voted the way at which voted to benefit every other marginalized group. But now, as the way things are going, it's no longer affecting the people that they thought it was going to affect. Now, it's affecting every individual. It's affecting everyone. It's affecting both black, brown, yellow, blue. And people are even pissed and upset with the fact that black people are not reacting. Like, okay, what do you expect? Why do you even expect them to react? Because they expected this for the first time. They expected that something like this was going to happen. So them reacting is of no use, because they warned everyone. They tried to make people understand. But these people felt deaf ears. They don't want to listen. They don't want to understand. They don't even want to, This man promised that the first time he will be in the office, oh my God, the grocery prices will drastically reduce. The fuel prices will be oh my God, the gas will be cheaper. It will be 200. But what is happening right now? He even promised there won't be no war. But what is happening right about now? There is war. There is, increase in gas. And when fuel prices and gas increase, that is automatically grocery prices increasing. That is automatically grocery prices increasing. Then putting the people that you vow to protect, you vow to make life easy for, putting them in harm's way. So many of the promises that he made, oh, there won't be war, there won't be this. What is happening with Iran? What is happening? Getting into, WAR that got nothing to do with you. This is totally unacceptable. And the worst part is that don't be surprised that some MAGA supporters will look for a way to defend it, to support this, to actually look for excuses. They are filled with excuses that might tell you that it's going to get high before it gets low, it's going to get worse before it gets better. I'm having this argument with a MAGA supporter live the other day, and this person was like, oh, I should just forget about it, that it's going to get worse before it gets better. So when is it going to get better? Is it when he's leaving the office? Election is coming very soon, so is it when he's leaving the office, that's when it's going to get better? Then when the next person takes over, people are going to blame the next person for putting them in a harm's way without even realizing that Orange Man has created all of this chaos. You know, like, seriously, lovelies. Anyways, why not just leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video, lovelies. If you've not subscribed to this channel up to this extent, do your baby girl a huge favor to click on the subscription button, like this video, and I'm going to see you, lovelies, when I upload the next one. Subscribe to the channel if you're here to do that, like, and I will see you, lovelies, when I upload the next one.